They are removing our stories and our history. They are removing our names from government buildings. It's as if someone wants to erase our footprints.
This throws all sorts of issues, legal issues as well, commenting on it because it might develop over the next couple of weeks and days.
Beverly Hills boardrooms debate the oddsome suspect Perry will settle quietly right. Check the size of a mid-budget trom-com and stagger forward. Others belly Meghan and the FBI collaboration hints at something bigger, an impending federal sting that could see indictments at freezes, maybe even Perry stepping away from the studio he built on Landon's owned by a Civil War fort Amazon and Netflix, each locked into multi-picture deals, commission emergency audits to protect themselves if Tyler turns toxic and the writer guild still salty over Perry's one-man script room's drafts. A resolution declaring they warned the world years ago, Min will every. Viewers try to piece together their loyalties. We binge Divorce and Theblack on Prime Cringe.
There have been some sexual assault claims made by him. It's a chap called Derek Dixon, and it's a $260 million lawsuit. And I'm going to say it's interesting because he is Lilibet's godfather. He revealed this on the Netflix show. He appeared as a character witness for Harry and Meghan in there.
When a Shakika Mara wanders off focus and wonder if the alleged shortcuts on set were mere thrift or evidence of a bigger pattern, or scroll Meghan's new lifestyle blog spotting the soft-focused candles and deco-friendly chocolate chip cookie tossing. How the ads appear just bellow opinion essays championing workplace dignity, and we listen to podcast hosts debating whether a duchess can really be whistleblower without shading motives, and sources close to Harry insist Theprince never wanted war. With their California Guardian, he viewed Perry as honorary uncle who saved his family during a time of palace grade turmoil. Harry reportedly begged Meghan to keep him out of any legal maneuvering frenzy. The Duke believes Harry deserves.
Filed lawsuit accuses Tyler Perry of assaulting an actor on one of the filmmaker's shows. Actor Derek Dixon has sued Perry for $260 million.
Due process. And fears turning Leet's godfather into an arch-villain will scar the child's memory box forever. Yet Harry is said to stand by Meghan's right, toss-peak her truth, and insiders claim he has quietly hired his own attorneys to keep the Sussex Foundation insulate from collateral damage. The couposality. Legendary unity faces its severest test in Hollywood. Insiders place bets on whether the prince's femme devotion outlasts his appetite for front privacy hedges. The man spent decades constructing a mythos of hope. Come Thomas Porch, confess your sins, hug it out, be the final credits. Salvation guaranteed. Now the world is rummagen through his backstage bins looking for sipes, if even a sliver of theologations stick the empire's moral backbone. Snaps and every Easter Sundaysermon he slipped into his scripts bums. Possible evidence of hyperchresiomogeny. The billionaire who built a church in every cinematic neighborhood, forced to justify why young actors say they felt obliged to entertain his private jokes at midnight. No wonder Hip blasted into that bet stage last month roaring that no one could erase black footprints. He must feel the erasers
of the timeline that it took for Derek Dixon to come forward with these allegations if they're true.
Well, that's one of the arguments the defense always makes, right? Is, well, if you were assaulted or harassed, why did you stay? Why didn't you report it right away? What I love as the plaintiff's lawyer is a contemporaneous report. So hopefully they have that. And I understand he's been getting therapy since 2020.
Gamble is equally treacherous. She has spent years cultivating the image of a modern-day humanitarian who conquers adversity through empathy, but empathosoft glow dims when you appear to realistiness mentling. A former benefactor of thepublic senses, she fed evidence to federal agents purely to punish a fading friendship. The backlash could torpedo her aspirational brand deals faster than Spotify terminated archetypes. The American public adores a crusader. It despises a calculated grudge, so Meghan Scamp treads carefully releasing. Justin Auti leaves cryptic references toe standing by survivors' subtle jabs about women operating in darkness to frame her heart-tracing question pulsing through studio hallways. Who will realign and howl, vanish. Taraji P. Henson, after initial hesitation, agrees to appear on Perry's next project, citing innocent intent, proven otherwise, but with a contract clause allowing immediate exit, Indictments drop. Kerry Washington, champion of Time's Up, quietly passes on Acme.
Now, Harry and Meghan have also been accused of hypocrisy after they restructured their staff, creating what has been labelled the Montecito Royal Court. What does that mean, Kinsey? What's happening?
Choosing instead to host a Penellan consent in production spaces of Aduere, calls for systemic change, but declines to condemn any single individual. Denzel stays silent. Opera's book club chooses a novel about betrayal in the corridors of power and on social media grassroots movements. Stand with Tyler and believe Dirk. Duke it out in memes, each accusing the other of ignoring truth in late-night diners. From Sunset Strip to Peachtree Street, we overhear crew members divide into three tribes. The Perry loyalists, who owe him their first mortgage, the moral believer Schwo, think the Duchess is forcing contently, and the cynics who say both giants are using the lawsuit as publicity, while real victims.
It hasn't been a good beat weekend for Meghan Markle, however, as there is growing speculation that she was asked not to appear on stage with her apparent BFF, Tyler Perry, at the Paley Centre Honours.
Victims remain pawns. The debates mimic old gospel revival. Shouted, emotional, punctuated, bislambed coffee mugs. Even the local news insurers cannot hide their curious repeating. The same clip of Meghan stepping into a black SUV outside a Brentwood studio, face hidden behind statement sunglasses, while Tyler Slayer's file motions in downtown Latozil deposition footage. The Collindor lurches toward the first pre-trial hearing, and tension ripples through every entertainment firm. Insurance agents recalculate liability. Studios.
When you have people like Oprah and Meghan Markle in a room like this, coming out just for you, not anyone else, but just for you, what does that moment feel like to receive that level of support?
Just to have people show up for you the way you showed up for them, it means the world. So I'm floored, I'm honored, I'm trying to hold it all together and take it all in.
And rising actress wonders whether signing a Perry contract note is heroic loyalty or career sabotage. Men will Perry sabotage men while Perry's social team uploads a montage of his charity work, Orphans in Haiti, scholarships for Morehouse freshmen, roof repairs for hurricane victims, begging the public to remember good. Meghan's Instagram's counter with footage of rescued beagles fricking on her lawn. Captioned about kinness, viewers whiplash, scroll back and forth searching for their morale climax. There's a slow burn psychological battle playing out behind glossy images Meghan knows. Silent second, be more damning than screams every day, she refuses to comment. Pundits project motives onto her, some branding her Ice Queen strategic, others lionizing her for refusing to overshadow. Survivor Styler, conversely, cannot stay silent. High's entire brand rests on saintly transparency, yet every word he utters risks.
There was this story that Meghan, had her people approach someone about a divorce book. But I mean, imagine if Meghan left Harry, it would destroy her reputation. She would be eviscerated publicly because she's already slipped into this kind of category on social media, the way that pop culture commentators talk about her. They lump her in with Amber Heard. They lump her in with, these other famous women who are perceived as, being narcissistic or, being controlled.
Contradicting future testimony in public relations, calculus both sides, Arione misstep away from brand implosion. So we watch them perform a high Weiblet over a chasm of uncertainty. Each balancing reputation on the thinnest off different, we cannot forget the audience surging around this spectacle. Black creatives who grew up reciting media monologues in church basement, women who saw in Meghan a mirror of their own workplace battles, and industry hopeful studying every twist as a guide to survival. For them, this is not mere gossip. It is a
literally got at the same time this person was sexually harassing me for years.
Referendum on loyalty, justice, and the price of ambition. We collectively hold our breath because, whichever titan tumbles, the shockwave will rattle our own beliefs about who to trust when the lights go down. And so we reach the moment where spotlights diamond, the studio orchestra swells for the cliffhanger we never asked for. Tyler Perry, the one-time rags to riches Harris, stands accused of wielding influence like a velvet-lined cudgel, while Meghan Markle, the Duchess, who once fled a Paulus cage, emerges as the covert informant whose testimony could slam another set of iron doors, this time hind. A man who sheltered her two meteors streaking across the same skied stand to collide because neither could resist the Gravity of power, we feel the heat already licking our face. Credits loom yet. The story is far from over. Will Perry's empire smolder to ash beneath the weight of insider confessions? Or will The Godfather, off-mattern melodrama, rise like his favorite phonics? Analogy and turn the tables on. Woman who outgrew his sanctuary, Will Megan's calculated...
Markle's podcast has ended its 8-episode run, and there are no plans to release a second season at this point. What a surprise.
Heroic or heuristic. When jurors finally sift rumor from fact, and in the bitter end, Wicklison will Hollywood learn that betrayal is the sharpest. Screen rental or that loyalty without accountability is just another empty slogan. Whatever verdict drops, we will be here eyes wide. Pop popcorn ready. Hearts racing, waiting for the next scene. So tell us, will you stand with the Mogolo-built kingdoms? Or the Duchess who dares burn bridges to claim her own crown? Drop your verdict below and keep debate blazing, because the final act this only just begun.
Because what we need to understand is that if our children don't know our history, they won't know our power. But the truth of the matter, it's impossible to erase our footprints because we left them.
See the day when the man who turned to ply would stage in Atlanta into a billion-dollar dream? Factory would find himself staring down the kind of nightmare usually reserved for one of his. On melodramas, yet here we are, pacing the studio lot of our own. Collective Imanian watching Tyler Perry's glittering empire lurch and groan. Like a sound stage in an earthquake while cameras roll in the entire world. Leans in the twist no screenwriter dared pitches that the biggest threat to Perry's kingdom is not the actor who filed that jawed, dropping $260 million. Complaint noth relentless.
To take my clothes off. He said, I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you naked.
Headlines about hush-hush misconduct on the Oval set, and notive in the swarm of opportunists, already circling overhead. Instead it is the silky voice of a former friend whispering in shadowed corridors of theft, be a voice we now understand belongs to Meghan Markle, the very woman Perry on-seckled family, the guest he sheltered when. Every royal door slammed shut on chill, because we remember exactly how friendship began. We remember the whispered phone calls in the spring of 2020, when a duchess in free fall reached out to the one person Shebelev could offer.
Forward, because if you're a victim, you're gonna have to really tell your story in a very, very public way. What is interesting, though, is under California law, he could have filed as a John Doe or a Jane Doe, and he chose not to. So I thought that was...
Sanctuary without judgment. Perry, ever the generous host, flew the Sussexes into the continent eluded states under a veil of secrecy, gave them his private mansion, rolled out the red carpet security detail, and even blessed little Elizabeth as her godfather. He did it for loyalty. He did it because that is what he preaches in his films Come As You Are. You are Sappha here, and we cheered the tabloids. Calladay, a Hollywood fairy tale, a black Cinderella at last finding allies in the kingdom. She truly wanted but fairy tale shave curses, and somewhere between Thebrick fast movies on Perry's Malibu veranda, and Meghan's first deal with Quiet Smile. Masked a Cimarron Gresent, a conviction that Perry Sedan desired to live his own life. And you'll back public support for the Monto ex-royals was a knife to the back. Insiders swear she felt Perry wassophoning her stardust, that his joy-use photo ops on red carpets turned him into the walking reminder of a favor she would always have to repay worse. When those unsettling whispers about inappropriate on-set behavior started toss spread in low-lit green rooms, Perry allegedly let calls from Montecito go to voicemail. From that moment, source insist Meghan decided that if Tyler wouldn't not stay inside her circle, she would step outside his, and maybe feed the watchdogs as a meaty bone or two to keep them occupied. Her HUD hot, so. Here calmest revelation, so explosive, we could smile the ozone crackle, even before Thelic hit the gossip wires. Meghan Markleans, hailed as the Duchess who broke Thepele's ceiling, has reportedly...
Very shocking and very embarrassing for Meghan, given she is on the committee of this event, but wasn't on stage with Tyler Perry. Yet Oprah was. Kerry Washington
been briefing FBI agents for months, supplying screenshots, emails, maybe even a clandestine voice memo, or 3 painting Tyler Perry as the Machiavelli studio backlots. We do not know the exact contents of her testimony, but winnow the effect. The Justice Department's inters went from flicker to bondfriend. The $260 million lawsuit from actor Derek Dixon, who claims Perry dangled drolls like marionette strings.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm always cautious until I can watch the full event myself, because sometimes camera angles and everything sort of impact what you can see. But I found it really interesting to watch sort of her interaction with Tyler Perry on the red carpet, because he seemed, I wouldn't say super engaged with her, super excited to interact with her. Once they had taken their pictures, he was like, I want to go over here. And I think they were just moving to take additional pictures at a different...
In exchange for intimate compliancers, it looks less like an attempt at ackish grab and more like a carefully stacked domino in a larger chain. If Meghan truly has proof that Harry knew held power over young dreamers and still pushed boundaries, then a civil suit may have split down its freshly widened fault line. One side, the long loyal pair brigade led by the faithful who have starred in his 20-odd dramas preaching thought there. Boss is the rare mogul woksually pays his casts on time and writes roles for those. Mainstream studios treat like extras. They repeat Tatarni, Matthew Boyd's crisp sound bidu, are confident these fabricated claims will fail like a mantra, hoping the Acoil drown out the allegations on theater. Side a camp of industrialists and starlets who have waited years for the chance to dethrone the Manthe.